let me just start off by saying I like what I do, but I don't like my job. And for a long time, I actually did like my job. It's more so the system of how everything works that just adds extra stress to the workplace, pushes for this ultra corporate mindset for literally no reason. I'm a body technician. So the long and short of it is when your car gets into a crash, even if it's a pretty severe crash, I'm the one that has to put it back together if your insurance company determines that it's worth fixing. This was kind of like a dream job for me in a way after working in corporate for so many years. And I didn't like corporate for the same reasons why I'm starting to dislike my job. It never seems like enough is enough, right? Like, think about when a company is started. They have a mission statement. Once they can kind of more or less occupy a space, maybe they hold so much of the industry, let's say they even lead the industry. What's next, right? What's the next thing for them to accomplish? Why does every company need to grow for the sake of growth? Isn't that what cancer does? It just grows out of control. I don't understand why pushing for something that should be considered art and trying to make it this commoditized product that's lifeless and soulless, like, why is that the goal here? I just got off of work. It's Friday. And Fridays are supposed to be the day that you look forward to the most, where for me, Fridays are days I look forward to the least. And the reason why is because Fridays are always filled with extra stress because of the upcoming 2 days off that the garage is going to have. It's unnecessary stress for the sake of stress. We need to push this car out, get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done, for no other reason than we would like for it to be done. Sure, there are some cases where the customer needs their car, and I get that, especially, we're dealing with people's daily drivers, and some people have rentals that they need to get back in. So I understand that there is a need to get these moving along. But when you demand perfection, you want showroom ready cars, that type of work takes time. And it's also antithetical to the flat rate pay system that we're compensated in, because it's in my best interest to get the car done as quickly as possible, doing the least amount of work as possible so I can make as much money as possible. Yet I kind of have a perfectionist mindset where, or not mindset, but attitude where I like for things to look a certain way. And when it comes time to quality check the car, they're wanting things that are basically impossible for the scope of the repair. Let me get into it. This week was not a good week. It was not a good week. It started off on a very slow note. I think I was sitting at something like maybe 12 hours. Sitting at something like 12 hours by Tuesday, and things started to kind of turn around come Wednesday. All in all, I think I got assigned a grand total of 41 or 42 hours, which is about average of what you should expect to get throughout a work week. But as per usual, one of the cars I was assigned, which is very similar to my car, it's actually the exact same model car that I drive, was waiting on parts. So there's not really much else I can do but tear that car down, write up any supplemental damage that I see, and wait for the parts. The other car that I got had pretty significant damage, and I was looking forward to getting into repairing that. I got that car on Thursday. Well, it was part of my plan to start repairing it today, Friday. I never got to it, and here's why. I had a customer's car, a Nissan Maxima. Let's say it's a Nissan. No, it's a Nissan Altima. It's a better car, slightly better. Nissan Altima. I don't want to dox myself in my garage by saying exactly which car it was, but it's like a Nissan. And this car had pretty substantial damage to both doors, so they were wrote to be replaced. And this car is pearl white too, so that requires extra careful paint work, like tri-stage paint work. It's pretty pristine when it's done. The thing that made this even more difficult was the car was just painted Thursday. And by the end of Thursday afternoon, they're asking me if it's possible at all to begin building on it, because they would like for the car to be done and ready to go back to the customer by today, Friday. Remember, it's very, very fragile paint, okay? Soft paint just got painted. So I have to be extra careful. And so I decided, okay, if I can at least get the doors mounted to the vehicle and start building on the doors, that'll put me in a position where I can deliver this car by Friday. It's more involved than you think. After mounting the doors, I have to make sure all the gaps are good. Then I also have to set not only the glass, but the rails, the seals, the electronics, the wiring, the speaker. Absolutely everything. All in all, you can expect about anywhere from 25 to 40 bolts to go into the thing. And each door is going to take me maybe a little bit over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to build. And there's 2 doors to build on this car. So I'm expecting it's going to take me about 4 hours total to rebuild this car. Then I have to do the rocker. So maybe let's add an extra hour for that just in case. So I started building on it Thursday, and we only had about an hour and a half, 2 hours left in the day. I stayed a little over and got a lot more of that done than what was originally anticipated. So I got the doors mounted. I started building. I think I was about 80% or so built the first door, and then I had to go ahead and call it a day. It was a long day as is. So now I'm coming in with the notion on Friday morning, like, hey, I got maybe about another 3-4 hours in this at the absolute most, and I'm done. If it's 8 a.m. now and I get started, I should be done well before lunchtime. And that was pretty much on track. Except for when it came time to start mounting the rocker molding. Now, the rocker molding didn't fit because outside of the scope of the repair was the quarter damage to the car, as well as the fender, or the wing is what people would say in Europe. There was damage to that. Well, now I'm not getting paid to fix that damage and to get it to fit right, but I know that when it comes time to quality check this vehicle, it's going to be very important that this thing looks incredible. And mind you, there's other damage on this car. But we have to still make sure that everything we touch looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor, which I think is absolutely asinine. I would love to make sure every car looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor, but I have to have full scope, which not every insurance company is going to approve, and not every customer is going to want us to have their car for that long. So there's limits to what I can and can't do. Sure enough, I was interrupted by a car that was a return car. It wasn't originally my car, but the customer needed something done, and this customer was complaining. Which brings to idea, just because you pay for something, it does give you the right to demand that things are done in a timely fashion in the way that satisfies you, but it doesn't give you the right to be an a-hole. You don't have the right to do that to people. This customer was an a-hole, apparently. And so I stopped what I was doing on this Nissan, jumped over to this crappy Kia, rebuilt the parts that was needed on that, and I got back to the Nissan probably within, I think, about 40 minutes. Mind you, it's past lunch. I'm hungry. I'm getting upset now because I had to deal with this, and now I have to still continue rebuilding this car because we need to get this car done. Well, all in all, I got everything else buttoned up as best as I could. I thought everything was good, so I go and take the car to clean up, and I go to lunch. But when I come back from lunch, there's that car back in my stall again, that Nissan. Apparently, the fitment to the door, it was about maybe 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch, not quite where it should be. And the fitment of the rocker panel to the fender wasn't quite where it needed to be. And there was a couple other minor issues, but there was also just a little scuff. When I say a little scuff, I mean maybe 1/4 of a millimeter on the very fresh tri-coat white paint. And so I spent the next 4 hours of my day getting this car to pass quality check. This is why no one wants to do bodywork anymore. it does not make sense financially for a lot of people to do it. Now, if I had to confess here, I didn't expect this to be a lifelong career for me. There was a lot of skills there that I wanted to learn. And it's nice to have something to kind of fall back on in case, things get worse, economically speaking. But if this is the way that things are going to be, where these cars have to be perfect, but also I'm not getting paid for it and compensated in a fair way for my perfection, the art that I'm producing, like it's artwork. It's like sculpting and sculpting, and it's so many other skills that come together to accumulate to make this all work. And I really, really enjoy the work. I like the work. I like taking something that's mangled and twisted and taking it apart and putting it all back together. It's awesome. It's like magic what we do. But if you're going to demand top dollar repair quality, but you're going to pay bottom of the barrel time, and then want fix this little thing here, fix this little thing there, it just doesn't make sense to me. The math is not mathing for me. I can understand why no one wants to do this. These companies have gotten out of hand. When is enough enough? I know if I had a small business, let's say I had 3, 4 employees and I was clearing over, $500,000 in revenue, it'd be very tough for me to say, oh, we need to push for, to get this company to go public and we need this many locations. I just don't see myself wanting that. And maybe it just makes me a lazy person to feel that way. But I feel like your goal should be, when you have a company, is to do things differently in a way that's beneficial and humane. That would be my mission statement. I'm going to do humane repairs in a way that is sustainable, in a way that makes people feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves. And the point of the company is to make money. Yes. But the point of the company is not just to make money for the purpose of making money. The purpose is to make money to impact the world and the community around me. And it's not saying I'm going to change the world or do anything crazy like that, but just to make sure that my family, my friends, my employees and their family and their friends all benefit from the creation of something that we're unilaterally pushing towards together. And now you're going to get the people in the comments saying that that's anti-capitalist and makes me some type of socialist. But no, it doesn't make me a socialist. I have very, very few socialist beliefs, but one of which is that you are entitled to the fruit of your labor. And it doesn't matter if someone took the risk to create a company. That's not fair to just assume that because someone took the risk to create a company, now I have to take the risk of my life, right? Shaving hours and hours off of my life to make sure that the founder, who is probably long dead by now, can get their 17th yacht. What is the purpose in that? That is not producing something that is beautiful. It's not producing something that's sustainable. What is the purpose of this? These big global multinational corporations are just cycling money around to the point where then they fail, and then the next big company comes up and they do the same thing over and over again. What is the point of that? I remember when people used to build something that mattered. They built something that would stand the test of time, and it was beautiful, and it spoke to what human ingenuity and achievement could be. And this is not it. This feels just like filling out paperwork at the corporate office. This feels just like punching a clock. Yes, I understand that comes with having a job, but I really wanted this to not be so corporate. And if you don't produce in a specific way that they want you to produce, even though when I want to get a paycheck and they don't have the cars, that's not their fault. But when I'm not producing at the level they want me to produce, then suddenly my bay could be producing more money. So maybe I should go move to a different company so that way they can move someone else who's more efficient into my bay. That's the level of care that any corporation would have for you. They don't care about you. They don't care. You're a number. You are a ratio of what you produce to what they earn. Nothing more. Retirement, forget about it. You're responsible for your own retirement. We don't care about pensions. We don't care about people. We don't care about vacations. We don't care about family. We don't care about any of that. That's what companies used to be. It used to be a collection of people who came together to build something bigger than themselves. And then Obama came along and said that corporations are people. It's because the government wants to give all the rights that we as Americans have to corporations, but without any of the liability. It is just sad, the state of things here. I want to know, what jobs fill people with purpose? Is it a doctor that makes you feel like you have purpose? It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something? Is it a teacher? Does that give you fulfillment? I know each of us are different. And so what may fulfill you won't necessarily fulfill me. But I like what I do. I think it's awesome. It's this cool process of turning something that some people would see as completely useless into something that can be used again. It's awesome. But then when you just number everything and everything has these really strict, tight deadlines and you just assembly line it, you've killed the art in it. And you've just made it nothing but a commodity that is sold at the cheapest possible rate. I'm sorry, it's produced at the cheapest possible rate. For what? So shareholders can feel like their pension's placed in a good place? That their pension is placed in a safe place? That they can retire when they reach 65 and a half or whatever the number is? But we all know retirement's not going to be there for us. It's not happening for a majority of us. And then you wonder why people feel like they've given up. And they give up because where's the hope and beauty left in anything anymore? It's been all sucked dry by a class of people who don't do anything else but leech. It is a dangerous, disgusting, and evil world that we live in, where I can't even have a good day's work and I'm just being stressed for the sake of a timeline that's imaginary. It is just a deadline placed arbitrarily. In most cases, it is. I can't do very much more of that. I'll talk to you guys again soon. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like. Thank you guys for watching. If you've watched this far in the video, please comment something like, "You are what you make of your job." Say that down below if you got this far. If you know somebody who wants to get into auto body or is an auto body, share this video with them, because I know I can't be alone in feeling this way. I know mechanics feel very similar to how I feel. I appreciate every single last one of you. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because I am going to continue to produce other videos. This is actually therapeutic for me. Once again, thank you. I appreciate you. And as always, take care of yourself and take care of each other.